Hi Sag, it's Kendrick from Providence Tarot. I'm really praying and hoping that the mic doesn't get any really crazy feedback. I know the cards are probably going to be loud when they're getting shuffled, but this is going to be your October 2019 reading for you, Sag. I'm getting that somebody made their bed and they need to lay in it. And maybe you need some space, perhaps, which you always do. I have a lot of Sag in my birth chart, and I really do need my space. Okay. Okay, so this is the second one. I'm going to do a third one, and then I'm going to lay the cards out. It's kind of windy out here, so I don't know how big of a spread it's going to be able to be, but it's going to be an ascendant, okay? So this is the third one, right? Ah, that's you. Responsibilities, right? Feeling overwhelmed by something probably getting to the end, and perhaps you were almost at the end of something and something sort of got in the way, or maybe put it to sort of yielded it, or things came to a slowdown, maybe a halt. Okay, now I'm gonna cut it and then I'm gonna lay them out. Hopefully they don't blow all over. Hopefully. Okay. I think we might be good. So let's start with the bottom of the deck. At the bottom of the deck, you have the Page of Swords. So this is talking about a new perspective and a new learned perspective, right? So maybe you got to the end of a situation and your perspective was changed because you were able to see it in, a big picture sort of situation. Whatever it is, it's kind of like time. It's like the test of time. Maybe you've stood the test of time, right? In your idea about what your reality was supposed to be, perhaps, or what you wanted it to be, or where you want it to go. It's also talking about youthful energy and children. So it could be that you're at the beginning stages of something where you're going to start to focus, right? Or maybe even zone in. You have a responsibility to learn more, or maybe you have a responsibility to communicate, or to communicate well. Sorry, I'm like looking at my cards because I feel like the wind is gusting. Anyway, the pages do have to do with maybe having a mentor or someone around, maybe a friend, or it could even be someone that's helping you with something. Some of you guys might even be learning a new trade or learning some new skill, or you could just be trying to develop some kind of strength in the mind, just within your knowledge, developing your knowledge about something, okay? So now, in the center of the reading, you have the Two of Pentacles. So this is definitely talking about a slowdown as well. This is change, and this is slow change that's occurring. You are experiencing a level of growth. There might even be some kind of travel here, right? Going from one place to another, and maybe you feel like you're getting from one place to another, like in a material sense, right? It could be money, it could be the growth of finances, or it could be the understanding of how to deal with your finances in a better way, or the management of your time, right? So your schedule could be changing, things like that, or you could just be trying to balance out things, weigh out what your options are. It could be in terms of where you might be living, where you might be working, or the amount of effort that you want to put into something to achieve a level of change that you are concerned about, right? This has to do with your financial security. It also has to do with something probably being revealed to you, and that's why the change had to occur within, maybe refinancing something, or maybe trying to, have your rent be a different price, anything like that. But it definitely is change, and it's development, and it is change that comes from the effort that you put into something and applying yourself, okay? So you could be applying yourself and seeing the changes there. So now, let's look at your immediate influence or your challenge. It's the Chariot, okay, which is the opposite energy of Capricorn, right? So this is talking about movement forward in a relationship, or this could be you not being stuck on a relationship, because it's a 7, so it is related to Libra in the 7th house, okay? And that's talking about sharing responsibilities, and it's also talking about understanding, weighing things out, moving forward confidently, not being too emotionally complacent within the changes that you feel like you would like to see happen. You know what I mean? Not being too emotionally affected, and then not being motivated to have the changes occur. So this is definitely feeling motivated, right? Because you're seeing this change happen, and these two cards are sort of complementing each other at 4 minutes and 44 seconds, because it's Cancer and it's Capricorn, and that's where the North Node and the South Node are right now, okay? okay? So, we're experiencing some changes in government. We're experiencing some changes in how we sort of like what we value, okay? So there could be some changes in what you value, and you moving forward with like just kind of a better understanding of what it is that you want to see occur or happening. You're reflecting on an experience too, and you're starting to see your way out of a period where you might even have felt emotionally stagnant, right? Or like you weren't understanding your emotions. Now you've gotten a grip emotionally, and you're able to move forward, okay? Let's look at your past situation. In the past situation, you have the Justice card, which is Libra, right? This is talking about the justification of, a decision, because this is talking about decisions. It could have to do with contracts, or it could have to do with paperwork, right? And this is also talking about a change in perspective, too, because the 11th house is Aquarius, and that's talking about, change that just happened suddenly, right? And you might even have been sensitive to a change that occurred in the past, right? Because, Libra is the scales, and anytime you put anything on that scale, it's going to experience a shift of energy at 5 minutes and 55 seconds, or a change, right? And this is talking about Libra season too. As we got into Libra season, we were thinking about our relationships, and maybe the dynamic shifted in the relationships as well, because this is talking about teetering, teeter-totter, that dynamic shift, right? Reacting to the shifts, reacting to the changes, understanding where you are within those changes, right? Trying to stay centered within those changes. What are your truths, right, about you and your situation and your circumstances that you understand to be unchangeable, right? This is also like your knowledge, okay? You may have developed knowledge about something that led you to making a decision that was your final decision, right? Because the Justice card does talk about final decisions. It talks about beauty as well. Just kind of like trying to see the beauty within a process, or making a process fair or pleasurable for you or for someone. It is kind of like, you know, playing to someone's needs, right? That's what the Justice card does as well, sometimes. But this is also kind of like in the defense of someone else. What else am I going to say about this card? It could be talking about marriage and stuff like that too, right? So let's look at your sun position. In your sun position, you have another major arcana card, which you have 3 right now. And it's interesting because it's Libra, Cancer, and the Hermit, which is Virgo, okay? So the Hermit is number 9, right? That's related to the moon, which is 18. When we add 1 and 8, we have a 9. So this is talking about something being hidden and then being revealed, right? Through an evolutionary process of self-discovery, okay? And self-discovery is really kind of like traveling within oneself to determine where it is that you are, where you are in the moment, right? Because this is a very in-the-moment card. The moon is very much in the moment. Sagittarius, which is the 9th house, is very much in the moment, right? It's talking about movement forward, and then it's also talking about like the sexuality as well, sexual prowess, maybe. I don't even know where I'm getting that from, but the moon is very emotional, and the emotions can be expressed through sexual activity or whatever that is. But the 9th house does have to do with that, right? Going from one place to another. This could even have to do with travel. Maybe Sagittarius, you're traveling with a Virgo, or maybe you're traveling for work. Yes, it could be that. And your focus is really on process, right? And determining something, determining all of the factors, where you lie in the situation, and what you may have brought to a certain situation that might have needed some clarity, right? So you're gaining clarity, right? This is perspective as well, because Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is the esoteric. Mercury is exalted in Aquarius, and Aquarius is still kind of related to the Justice card, right? So there could be you could be trying to bring balance to a situation by determining what factors, where you factored in, okay? Where do I factor in, okay? This is also kind of like just bringing a lot of focus to like planning and your schedule, right? You could be trying to iron out the details on something, and you're trying to make something smoother, okay? Also, in your moon position, you have the 6 of Cups, which is Sun and Scorpio. And the Sun in Scorpio is going to come after, Libra season, right? So we're in Libra season, Sun is in Libra. We're going into the Sun being in Scorpio. And when we get there, Mercury, which I was just talking about, the planet that rules Virgo, is going to be retrograde in your sign, okay? So this is talking about some, Maybe if any of you have any Scorpio placements, then that might affect you significantly. And being that it is Scorpio and it's in your 12th house, especially for you guys who are Sagittarius risings, then there could be some major blockages and some things that are going to be very confusing or maybe unclear for about 5 weeks for you. You're going to be trying to kind of figure things out. You might even be revisiting your past, right? Understanding, or just kind of like reflecting on the past and how it's gotten you to where you are now. Also, you're going to be looking at those habits that you might have, you know, been exhibiting in the past, or maybe you had some habitual behavior from the past, you know what I mean, that you're trying to like move away from, because Scorpio does talk about toxic energy and it talks about obsessiveness. So you could be obsessing about the memories of the past, right? And it could be an unhealthy habit, okay? The sixes are related to the Lover's card, which is Mercury, and that's talking about reciprocity or reciprocation. And also, it's talking about settling things, right? So it kind of, you could be taking a compassionate view of the past, or looking at the past with, emotional, with forgiveness or something like that. And it could be related to somebody that you share an intimate experience with from the past. And it could be just kind of like being stirred up again. The word emotions comes from the French word émouvoir, which I think E is to, the first part of that is to stir. Um, it's like to stir up, right? So it's kind of like your emotions being stirred up. And also motivation comes from that word as well. So it's kind of like movement, emotions, motivation. A lot of the times we are motivated from a place of emotion, right? So that's your emotional instinct. And Scorpio is ruled by Mars, which is a planet of instinct, right? um, anyway, so your emotional instincts could be getting the best of you when we get to that Scorpio season, because Scorpio is your 12th house, and the 12th house is ruled by Pisces, right? Or it's usually Pisces, and it's governed by Neptune and Jupiter, which is actually, the dispositing planet of Pisces, right? It's a ruling planet of Pisces. So you're experiencing some fluctuations in your emotions, because the sixth house does talk about fluctuations. All of the mutable signs talk about fluctuations, because like mutability is changing. It's neither here nor there, so it's really hard to catch or wrap your head around or understand what it is supposed to be, because it's always changing and going out of one reality into the next. Okay, so this is saying that you're going to probably be going out of one reality and into the next once this Mercury retrograde happens in Scorpio, which is your 12th house. And it's okay, because it's kind of like letting go of the past and letting go of things that may have controlled you or may have made you obsess over them, right? Because when you obsess over something, then it kind of has control over you. You know what I mean? You can't really, it's like you're trying to deal with it. You're going to have to like cut it off or something like that, or cut it out. You know what I mean? Yeah, but this is definitely talking about cleansing energy, right? So that you can move forward. Because all of this is talking about forward movement. With Jupiter being in Capricorn, right? And that's changed. Two of Pentacles, one to the other. The Chariot, it's moving forward, perhaps. I mean, definitely moving forward, right? And then you have the Justice card, which is talking about fluctuations and changes that are always occurring, but you might be feeling stagnant, even though all of these changes are occurring around you, and you're being affected by those, right? Anyway, let's look at your anxieties. The Queen of Pentacles. So this is related to Capricorn energy, and it's water and earth, right? So that's talking about growth, but this is personal growth, right? It's kind of like the Queen of Pentacles wants to offer. She likes to give, 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 give. This is kind of like you have anxieties in terms of doing it on your own, or doing it by yourself, or making it on your own, like not needing anyone or wanting to do all of the work to get to where you want to be, because then you can say that you did it yourself. So I feel like, you could even be isolating yourself to some degree, right? Or you might even just feel isolated because you're doing a lot of work, and you're doing a lot of work on your own, because it's almost kind of like quality control. You want to be able to control the quality of the work that you put out there. This is also how you're expressing yourself, right? Like I said, your emotions are kind of like your emotional impulse, right? And the queens are all related to the Empress, which is talking about emotion, right? And it's talking about an understanding where you may lie, understanding where you sit, understanding where you stand, right? And this could be you knowing and knowing where you stand with someone or something or some situation, and not feeling like you're going to get, the recognition perhaps that you would like to get, right? So you have anxieties that you're not going to get the recognition that you feel like you might deserve or that is justified, okay? Because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is exalted in Libra, and right now we're in Libra season, and Saturn is in Capricorn, which is talking about work, building, governing, money, economy, execution. So you could have the anxieties of the execution of something, or you might just be feeling the anxieties of the responsibility of being the executive of something, right? Or being the leader, right? Maybe having things fall on your shoulders or having things fall on you because it's all you. You know what I mean? That type of thing. So let's look at your Mars position. Wow. In your Mars position, you have the Moon card, which is talking about natural rhythms. It's talking about nighttime, right? It's also talking about secrets. It could even be talking about the natural rhythm of your body. So you could be having some body image issues, or this could just be kind of like a change in the natural rhythm, right? Because the moon experiences dramatic shifts and changes as it goes around the zodiac. The moon changes signs every 2.5 days, and when it changes signs, there's a few hours where it's sort of void of course, where it kind of like doesn't know where it is, or it's kind of like in between the energy of the signs. So you could be feeling in between something, and you're wanting to come out of it, right? You might even be still in that sort of like in that phase where like your subconscious is very active right now, like your dreams and just kind of like what you might be feeling. You could even be feeling like, this is in your Mars position, and I was talking about impulse, right? Mars being the impulse, and then this being the emotions. This is Cancer, and this is also Pisces energy, right? So you also could be dealing with the Virgo. Those are all mutable signs, right? But this could be, all of those mutable signs, and then the Sagittarius, which is the ninth house, and this is 18/9. You know what I mean? So, there's some kind of emotional stirring surrounded by traveling or by feeling isolated or something like that. Because sometimes when we travel on our own, we might feel isolated, right? Or we might be, some of you might even just kind of like be feeling homesick or something like that, because the moon is related to Cancer, which rules the home. So some of you might even want to, go and visit home or something like that, just to kind of like get your wits about you, or to sort of like restore or regenerate something. Okay, yeah. So in the Venus position, I feel like there's a completion here within the relationship, or in the Venus position is saying that you're willing to sacrifice, a relationship, or sacrifice some element of yourself for a feeling that you're having, right? And could be out of compassion for someone else. So maybe you have to travel home, or maybe there's something going on with going home because someone might be ill, or this could be kind of like somebody coming to the rescue, or maybe you coming to someone else's rescue. This could be the mother as well. So, maybe you guys might miss your mother, or maybe you might be feeling like you want to be around her, or maybe she needs you for something, okay? It's a 10, so it's related to your career, right? So your career could be making you feel, emotionally fulfilled to some degree, right? Because the 10th house is Capricorn, and then this is Pisces, which is a planet that squares you. So there could be some tensions in terms of like getting to the end result of a feeling. What is the outcome? You know what I mean? Because this is the outcome here of a feeling. And then Mars likes to do, and it likes to get involved. You know. And the tens are also talking about the self. It's also talking about, what opportunity you might be taking, because before this card is the Nine of Cups, and that's talking about, you know, wish fulfillment, and going somewhere to get closer to the wish fulfillment that you seek. You know what I mean? So this is kind of like you achieving that. Some of you, to some degree. And the tens are related to feeling overwhelmed by a feeling. So we could be going back to being overwhelmed by a feeling, you know, that covers you, in terms of travel, because the tens do have to do with travel as well. It could even have to do with the father, because this is Mars, and this could be compassion for the father, you know what I mean? And, all of the tens go back to a one, and that's Aries, and that's the first house, and the 10th house is Capricorn, and that's all. Mars is related to both of those houses, okay? And that has to do with the willpower, okay? And it has to do with focus and the acknowledgement of something, okay? Now let's look at your future card. Your outcome is the 3, right? Which is talking about many things occurring, um, within an environment, or maybe many things occurring at home, perhaps with the father, or this could even be the mother, right? This could be you looking towards your future, definitely, because there's something that's going to come out of this waiting period that some of you might be feeling. This is a card of virtue. So this is a card of kind of like things being made right, and this things are being made right through your efforts, okay? So you expect the outcome to be a good one. So this is kind of a positive card for the outcome, in terms of like what I have said before. You're looking on a new horizon here. The 3rd house is Gemini, so it could have to do with children, father and children. It could even have to do with mom, dad, and the child, because there are 3 wands here. And this is going to bring about some level of growth or some level of change, right? Because this is the sun in Aries, and the sun is exalted in Aries, okay? So it's an uplifted feeling, it's a dignified feeling, a dignified position. This is a lot of fire here. So passions could be stirred up, emotions could be stirred up passionately about something that might be involving the family, or it could be involving, the mother, the father, or the child could be affected by the activity that is going on, within an environment, okay? That is protected and unchanged. So it's kind of like something that is a secure environment. So it's within the confines of it's a safe environment, right? But things are happening there. In your future, you have the Hierophant, which is talking about family, it's talking about commitment, and it's talking about, religion, right? Belief systems, and also status quo, you know what I mean? The fives are talking about conflicts and things that we experience that test us, because we have to be shaped in life. We have to be seasoned so we can deal with all of the things that, we're going to be faced with, You have to know where your belief systems are, what they are. You have to know who you are. You have to be able to question certain things that maybe don't fit the mold of what your belief systems are. This could have to do with children as well, okay? Because the 5th house is Leo, and that's talking about children, you know, right? This is also Taurus, right? So this is marriage, and it's also commitment, and it's shared resources. So we could even be talking about like a shared business, or shared finances, or something of value that is shared between 2 people, or between more than 2 people within an institution, okay? And this is also talking about security, financial security, or finances being secure within some kind of business sense, right? It's like savings, or something being saved, like a will or something like that. This could even also have to do with I don't think I need to say anything more about this card, but this is saying that whatever situation that you might be in that might be testing you, it's saying that there's more to it. And the fives are always talking about there being more to something, because it's conflict, and conflict isn't just conflict for there to be conflict. Conflict is meant to be resolved. So this is talking about the resolution of something that is, conflicting. All right, so this is really good, okay? Yes, but then at the same time, being good, right? It could mean that the situation that you guys might be feeling, that you're suffering from, or that you might be really being affected by, right? Because the 4s are very effective, and I think they also talk about like, is it mercy? I'm not really sure. I have to check that out. But it's talking about completion. It's talking about, foundations, right? And this is, Venus and Aries. So this is kind of like, Venus is the planet of beauty and harmony, right? And pleasure. And then, Aries is talking about the self, and this is feeling pleased by something, right? For sure, because it's like a celebratory energy. So you could be celebrating someone's life. There could be someone's birthday, right? So that thing that I'm talking about traveling and going back and something, it may not even be for something that is worrisome. It could just be to go and celebrate something, right? This is a marriage card as well because it's Venus and it's Aries, right? And then it's also talking about, your emotional security, right? So something might be making you feel a little bit better. This is transformative as well because it's Aries, and Aries is, the sun is exalted in Aries, Mars rules Aries, and Pluto is a co-ruler of Aries, okay? So, in order for you to be right, or in order for you to become something, you kind of like already have had been something, or the acknowledgement of the idea of that thing had to exist for it to become something substantially, or for it to substantiate into something coming into form, right? Because the threes are talking about things coming into form, and the four is kind of like the stamp of approval for that thing that has come into form. You know what I mean? This is also kind of like standing on your own, perhaps. It could also even be related to, you know, mother and father. Maybe it's their anniversary, or maybe they're renewing their vows or something. Maybe you might be getting married, or this could be related to somebody that you were maybe married to, or you had a long-term relationship with in the past, and that's why this moon position has the sun in Scorpio here, which is talking about you going back to those feelings from the past of someone that you were probably, involved with for a long period of time. But this is saying that there's going to be completion brought to whatever process this is that you feel like, might be challenging you. And this is great because the outcome here is the Three of Wands, and then, what you're going into is the Four of Wands, right? So there's change, and there is productivity, and there's movement forward, and there is a change happening. So if you're suffering with something, a change is going to happen that's going to bring you out of that energy. Whereas if you haven't experienced the change, then the change is coming. It's also talking about authority, how you see yourself, how you assert yourself within this change, or how you assert yourself to experience this level of change. It's the acknowledgement of a new commitment, or the acknowledgement of a new reality for some of you guys. And I think it's going to be one that's going to take you to a better place. Okay? Definitely like, share, and subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram on Providence Tarot, and obviously I'm Providence Tarot on YouTube. My IG is NYC Kendrick, okay? Or you could follow Kendrick NYC. There's one more that I have, and it's called the Tongue Pop, so that's kind of like more of a culinary thing, right? So if you want to go there and look at that, then you can. I read at Shanti Bookshop and Crystal Gallery. The address for that is 230 East 14th Street between 2nd and 3rd Avenues. And I'll be there on Sunday from 12 to 5. Okay, Sag? Jupiter is direct now, and then it's going to be going into your second house, which is good for money, and it's good for finances, and just new ways of establishing your financial security and things like that. So look forward to that as we move into the new year. And I'll be posting a video for the Aries full moon soon, and I believe that I'll be doing Pisces and Virgo next. Bye.